Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the day three of this Python Bootcamp. I hope everyone are doing great. So, before going to the concept, let me ask a few questions. I'm waiting for everyone to join the class. Yes, good evening, Vishnu Teja. Good evening, Purnima. Good evening, Sarthi. Good evening, Mohammed. Okay, Sidhu, your point is noted. We will share the PDF. Don't worry about that. So, welcome to the day three of this Python Bootcamp. So, please type your answers in the chat box. How to print the data type of a particular variable in Python. Good evening everyone. So how to print the data type? How do you get the data type? Yes, it's using type function. So by using type function, we can easily print the data type of your particular variable in Python. It's not type of, it's just type function. Yes, Haripriya, it's print type. Coming to the next question, list the data types in which the combination of data types are allowed. Is that only list? Yes, it's list tuple. Coming to the last thing, so just type the difference between break and continue statement. What is the difference between break and continue statement? So for interesting content like this, do like, share and subscribe to Code Sprint. And do join all our communities which are whose links are there in the description box. Yes, break will stop and continue will just skip that particular statement. So let me have a recap on yesterday's session. So what are the concepts? It's conditional statements, iterative statements and control flow statements, right? If you have any doubts, just reach me out through LinkedIn. So if your doubts which were not cleared in this particular class, do reach me out through LinkedIn. So coming to the, yeah, let me start the recap, and then I'll move to the today's class. So what are the sub concepts in conditional statements? We have if and if else condition, followed by elif and nested, right? So what is if condition? So if that particular condition is true, the entire execution will be moving into this particular block of code. And what is if else? If it is true, like the particular condition is true, it will be moving inside if block, else it will be moving inside else block. So that is if and if else condition. Coming to the elif, it's nothing but else if, which will be, this concept is similar to the if else ladder and C programming language. So, in which case we will, in what cases we'll be using elif? Like when we have many conditions, right? And what is nested if statement? If within an if. So, when we have when we have many true statements, we'll be using this nested if, right? So coming to iterative statements, what are the sub concepts here? We have for loop, while loop, and nested loop. Just look at the syntax for all the loops. Don't get confused here. We have this is nested loop and this is while loop. There's a small correction here. So do look. Look at the syntax. I hope everyone have done your homework. What is the homework? Write a Python program to print prime numbers from 1 to 100. Right? Do practice the codes. Else you'll just forget the concept. So coming to the control flow statements, we have break and continue, right? So what is the difference between break and continue? For break, at that particular step, the execution will completely stop and we'll just come out from this entire code. Coming to continue statement, at that particular condition, the code will be skipped and it will be moving to the next condition. So that is continue. I hope you remember this program. You'll be taking two numbers as input and you're just trying to check whether the first number is greater than or smaller than or equal to the second number. This is also similar to this to the first code. You're just taking a number and you're checking whether it is positive, negative, or zero. These codes are, just to understand the concept of elif, if, the nested loop, etc. So coming to this palindrome. So what is a palindrome? The string that reads same in reverse, right? So in order to do that, we should write the logic. First we have to reverse the string and then we have to check whether the reverse string and the original string is equal to or not. If they both are equal, it is palindrome. Else it is not a palindrome. If you see in this entire program, the main logic is there only in the second line. So what is the meaning of this particular second line? Word is equal to word colon colon minus 1. So this is nothing but slicing concept in Python. So you're just trying to give the starting index, ending index, and some steps in order to get printed. So minus 1 indicates like here you're not giving any starting index or any ending index. So minus 1 indicates that you have to print this we have to print this particular input in the reverse order. So for example, if you take level, so you'll be trying to check, you'll be trying to check whether this reverse order and this original string is same or not. And that is nothing but palindrome. I hope you're clear with this input function. We'll be using input function in order to scan or in order to read your particular input in Python. So coming to the last thing which we have learned yesterday is factorial program. So what is factorial? It's just multiple of the decrement of the next number, right? If you consider what is 3 factorial, it's 3 into 2 into 1, which means we have to just decrement that particular n value, and you'll just multiply all that until 1, right? So that is why I have just initialized my factorial value as 1, and I'll just iterate from this particular original value. So what is the main logic here? Factorial is equal to factorial into I will be the main logic here. So the meaning of this particular line is nothing but factorial is equal to factorial into I. So in short, we'll be writing factorial into is equal to I. So into is nothing but asterisk here. Don't get confused. So I hope there are no doubts in day 2. Yes, that's great. So let us move to today's session. So we have functions and we have introduction to OOPS concept today. So what are functions? We have already we have already discussed about functions while using while doing this palindrome program, right? So in order to do this palindrome program, we have used this functions concept. So what is function? Function is nothing but a block of statements that returns or it does some specific task and it will return the output based on that specific task. The main idea, the main idea is nothing but it is to put some, like the common code. We'll be trying to put this common code, or we'll be trying to wrap this entire common code into a function so that it will be used for further. So for example, I want some I'll be trying to write some addition code, that is a plus b, but I want to add many numbers. It's not required to write this particular code again and again. So we have to wrap this into a single unit called function, so that instead of writing the same code again and again for different inputs, we can do this function calls. So remember one thing here, function is the thing which is only, which runs only when it is called. Don't forget about this. And in order to reuse the code again and again, we can just create a function. So this is nothing but function. I hope you're clear what is function, right? Just do remember that in order to reuse the code again and again, we'll just create a function. So what will be the syntax? So in order to create a function, we'll be using def keyword. So def, what will be the syntax? Def function name followed by the parameters enclosed within parentheses. So here if you see, def is the keyword to create a function, and greet here will be the function name, and name here will be the parameter. What is parameter? Parameter is nothing but the input. So like without any input, how can we do this entire logic? So parameter is nothing but the input that we actually want. So def greet is nothing but function name. And if you see this, what is the syntax for this particular function name? It should be like the starting letter should be in the small. So do remember the syntax. Yeah. And coming to the body, we'll be having like we'll be writing some print statement, and as I've already told you, function will return some output, right? We will also write the return statement at the end. So what are the three things which are there in function? One will be creating a function by using def keyword, and the second thing will be the body of the function, like we'll be writing some statements or logic, and the third thing will be returning something, returning statement. So these are the three things that you have to remember when you come across this functions concept. So as I've already told you, function only runs when it is called, right? So how to call a function? Now in this particular first code, we are just creating a function and writing some body to that. We did not actually call the function. So you can call a function by using its name followed by parenthesis. So passing in the required argument. So without, like, you have to pass the required argument in this particular function call. So without giving any argument, we cannot do this entire logic, right? So if you see this, how to call a, look at the syntax of function calling. Function name followed by the argument, right? Argument is nothing but parameter. So here, what is ls here? Ls will automatically move to the name argument here. So here in this particular output, hello name. So in this particular name, ls will be replaced. So what will be the output? Hello ls, I hope you're clear with this particular functions concept. So do observe the output, guys. So I hope you're clear with this functions concept. So another important thing here is we have prepared. I mean, we have launched an exclusive bundle for you guys, like for the guy. I mean, for the people who are participating in this entire boot camp. So you can get all the detailed notes, Python interview questions, practice problems, cheat sheets, and you can all. I mean, you can get all this for only rupees 99. So this bundle is actually worth rupees 499, but we are offering it to you to at a massive discount of rupees 99. So grab this opportunity, guys, so that you can master in Python. I hope the link is there in this particular description of this video. So I hope you are clear with this functions concept. If there are no doubts, I'll be moving to the next concept. What is a function? The syntax of function and how to call a function. Yes, moving to the next concept, return values. So as I've already mentioned, function will be returning some value based on the given task, right? So function can return values using the return statement. If there is no return statement, the function returns none. Uh, as I've already told about none in the data types, that is in day one of this Python bootcamp. What is none? If there is no output or if the output is absent, then we'll be using none, right? So how to return? For example, see this particular code. I'm just trying to add two numbers. So define add. So what are arguments? Arguments are nothing but input, right? I'm trying to add two numbers, so I need two numbers. Now what will be the actual, I mean, how to add two numbers? What will be the logic to add two numbers, guys? I hope you're following. Yes, that's A plus B. So you'll just return A plus B, and you'll just print add of 4 comma 5. I hope you're clear how to actually call the function and how to do this logic and how to write the return statement. Do observe the output. And here in this particular code, we are just trying to store the output in this result variable and it's not required. See here, I did not use any result variable, right? I'm just directly printing. If you want, you can just do that. Print of result. I'm just trying to store this entire result. Result is equal to. If I don't want that, I'll not be using result. If you don't want any new variables, you can just do you can just print the entire function by giving your favorite arguments or parameters. So coming to the default parameters, you can provide default values for function parameters, and these parameters become optional when calling the function. Yes. So here I'm writing 4 and 5, but but I want 5 all the time. I don't want to change that, and I don't want to give that at the time of execution. So I'll just give b is equal to 5 default. While creating the function itself, I'll be giving the value, and this is nothing but default parameter. So here, if you change, you'll be getting the same thing, that is there in the default. So that is nothing but default parameter. So for example, look at this particular code. Here def, it is the keyword in order to create the function. Power is the function name. So this is the code to print power of a particular number. So base and exponent, so in order to print the power, we need these both, right? Base and exponent. So here by default I'm giving the exponent value as 2, and I want to return base double asterisk exponent. So what is double asterisk? It's nothing but the power. If I give single asterisk, it will be like multiplication. So double asterisk is nothing but exponent. So print power of 3. So this particular 3 will be stored in this base value, because as that is the first value. And what is the second value? As we did not mention any second value, but it is defaultly, but it is there as exponent is equal to 2. So it will consider as 2. So base into exponent, which means 3 power 2. So the output will be 9. And coming to the next thing, I am giving the base as 2 and exponent as 3. So I am trying to change the value, and that will be 2 power 3, and that is 8. So I hope you're clear with both the return statement and default parameters. So yeah, moving to the next thing, that is keyword arguments. So you can pass the arguments to functions using the parameter names as keyword. So here I'm just giving a comma b and 4 and 5, right, in the previous example. But here I want to change the order. I want my b to come first and I want my a to go last. So look at this example. I'm just trying to give a function name called describe person, and what are my parameters? Name and age. And in the output, I'm just trying to print the age of some person. So how to call this function? Describe underscore person. Age is 30. Actually, I have name in the first, but I'm giving age is equal to 30. So I am giving the order. I am like this interpreter will allow me to give this to specify this particular order. So age will be 30 and name will be Bob. So what will be the output? In place of name, what is it? Bob. Bob is 30 years old. So this will be the output. So what is the main concept here? We can easily specify the order independently. So coming to the next thing, variable number of arguments. So function, yeah, like I want to take n number of arguments. So if I want to take some 100 arguments, how can I do that? I have to take A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on, right? Or 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? So it's not required. So apart from doing that, you will be using asterisk args, that is non-keyword. So functions can take a variable number of arguments using asterisk args. So just look at the example. I'm just writing this function add numbers. So def add numbers. So what is there in place of arguments? I have asterisk args, which means you can take you can take n number of inputs. So return sum. So sum of args. So what will be the result? Result is equal to add numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So generally what will the sum function will do? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus and so on, right? So it's based on your requirement. It's not required to create all the arguments or parameters. You just used asterisk args, okay? Now coming to the lambda function. I hope you're clear with this concept. If there are any doubts, please type in the chat box. So not only this notes, we have all the practice problems like questions based on interviews. We have that. We have all these in this particular exclusive bundle which we have launched. So grab that opportunity. Coming to the next thing, we have lambda function. So what is lambda function? It is a small anonymous function. So anonymous means like it's an unknown or nameless function, right? So it can take any number of arguments, but it can only have a particular expression, only one expression, but it can take many arguments. So like how we use this def keyword in order to create a normal function in Python, we use lambda keyword in order to define an anonymous function in Python. So remember that def keyword is for normal function in Python. Lambda keyword is for anonymous function. What is anonymous function is like we don't have a name to it or we don't know what function it is, but it will be doing some specific task by taking the parameters and it will return some values as the output. So I hope you're clear with what is lambda function, guys. So yeah, anonymous lambda functions are anonymous unnamed functions in Python, and it have a compact syntax. That is, we have only one line syntax. They have a concise one liner syntax. So what is the syntax for lambda function? It's lambda space arguments colon expression. So remember the syntax, guys. Lambda space arguments colon expression. So this is nothing but lambda function. So let us see the example. So what are the applications of lambda is we use this with higher order functions like map, filter and sorted. So look at this particular example. So in this particular example, the first line is nothing but input and the last line will be output. So this particular middle line will be the entire logic. So what is the question for this particular code? Write a Python program to convert the given, to convert the numbers to square of its numbers. To convert, and I want the output in the list form, like how it's or actually there. So what is the input? Numbers is equal to 1 1 2 3 4 5. This is the list data type. And what is the logic here? Squared numbers is equal to list of. Why did we write here list of? Because I want the output in the list form. So that is why we have written list of map. What is map? Map function is used as an iterator. So to return the result, by applying a function to every different value. So map is nothing but for loop. So just remember like that. It is nothing but the iterator that will iterate through every value. So list of map of. So what is the syntax for lambda? Lambda space argument colon expression, right? So lambda, that is the keyword to create this particular anonymous function. Lambda space argument. You can take anything as an argument, I or x, or that's but that's of that's it's of your favor. So x colon the expression. What is the expression here? So how can we do the squares of this particular list? So by doing the power function, right, that is 2 asterisks. So x is 2, x power function 2. And what is numbers here? Numbers instance for what list we are trying this particular logic. So numbers, for this particular 1 2 3 4 and 5, we are doing this logic, right? That is condition. So that is why we have specified the numbers at the last. So I hope you're clear with this entire logic. Squared numbers is equal to list of map of lambda x colon the condition and numbers. I'm just printing this. This entire output will be stored in squared numbers variable. So I'll be just printing the squared numbers variable. And what will be the output? 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, and 4 square is 16. 5 square will be 25. So what is the function of map here? It will just try to put each value in this condition and it will just return the output. So I want my output in list form. That is why I have specified list in the starting. So in place of x, first 1 will be there. So 1 power 2, 2 power 2 and so on. So I hope you're clear with this particular example. So this is nothing but lambda function and how to use this lambda function in your code. Any doubts, or shall I move to the next concept, that is introduction to OOPS, object oriented programming? Just have a look at this entire concept. Leave off the theory part and just have a look at this particular syntax. So, what is a function? How to call a function? And how to write the return statements in function? What are default parameters? What are keyword arguments? And how to take n number of inputs in the arguments in lambda function. So all the, like, apart from this notes, you'll be having detailed and clear notes, and along with the cheat sheets, practice problems, Python interview questions. So all are included with this exclusive bundle. See the link in the description. You can grab that and you can master in Python, guys. And I hope everyone have filled the yesterday's attendance form. So if there are no doubts, I'll be moving to the next concept. Explain default parameters. Okay, Vaishnavi. Yeah. So look at this particular example. I'm trying to write some power function. I want to find power of some value. Okay. So for that, what are the inputs that are required? Base and exponent, right? So see here in the previous thing, see here in this particular add function, I'm giving 3 and 5. In this, like while calling, I'm giving 3 and 5, right? But here in default parameters, while creating the function itself, I have written exponent is equal to 2. So next time onwards, I'll not be writing again and again while calling. So if you see the print statement, print power of 3, this 3, as this is in the first thing, so this 3 will be moving to the base. And exponent, I did not give any exponent value here. So what will be the exponent value? I have defaultly given this value as 2, right? So exponent is equal to 2. Here exponent is nothing but the default parameter. If I don't want to change the value, I'll be giving this while creating the function itself. If you want to change, you just specify this like 2 comma 3. Now here it will change. If you don't want to change, you just do this. I mean, try to do this default parameter, that is exponent is equal to 2. Argument is provided. Yes, exactly. If no argument is provided, then default value is used. So if there are no doubts, I'll be moving to this next concept, that is OOPS. So OOPS stands for object oriented programming. So if we want to learn OOPS, we have to learn about classes, objects, and their behavior, attributes, etc. So what are classes? Class is just an object constructor, or it is used for creating objects, or it is a blueprint in order to create objects. So what is class? It is just used to create objects. It is a blueprint for creating objects or supplying attributes and methods. What are attributes? Attributes is nothing but data or some characteristics, and methods is nothing but functionality or behavior. So let me take an example. Consider your classroom as the class. So what are the objects will be there in your classroom? Quickly tell me what are the objects will be there in your classroom. Yes, bench, board, etc., right? So bench is an object. So consider that. So we have attributes and methods for this particular bench. So what are attributes? Attribute is nothing but properties or the physical appearance of that. What will be the color, the length, etc. So behavior is nothing but method, which is nothing but the functionality of a bench. It is used to sit, or it is used to I mean, take a book and write, right? So that is nothing but the example, I mean, the live example for this particular class. So in class, we'll be having objects, and for objects, we'll be having the properties and behavior. Just remember like that. So classes will be the basic, I mean, the important concept for this object oriented programming. Coming to objects, what are objects? They are the instances of class. So containing dedicated values for class, that is attributes and methods. So what are the values which are there for objects, attributes and methods? Attributes are nothing but properties. I mean the physical properties, and methods is nothing but the functionality. For example, consider a car or consider a dog. So what are the attributes for dog? Its color, its breed, its name, etc., right? The physical properties will be the attributes. So what is the functionality of dog? It will bark, it will eat, it will sleep, etc., right? So that will be the example for this object. So I hope you're clear with this class and object. So class is nothing but it is used to create objects. Object is nothing but they are the instances of class, but they have these both values, that is attributes and functions or methods, or nothing but behavior. So how to define a class? We use class keyword for defining the class. So if you see in this particular example, we have class person. So how to write this? I mean, what is the syntax for this? We have to put this first letter in caps. And if you are writing another new word, you have to put that new word's first letter as capital. So this is known as camel case syntax. So don't get confused with the class and function syntax. Function syntax, the first letter itself will be in small, right? So use the class keyword. So class person, in class we'll be having methods. So if you see this particular code, class person, and you have this function define, def init, and what are the arguments? Self, name, and age. So I'm just trying to assign my name to self dot name and age to self dot age. And what I mean, I'm again writing another function to print my output. So define greet of self. So you don't have to, it's not required to write all the arguments while printing. In this particular printing function, it's not required to write because I'm just storing all these name and age in my self itself. So what will be printed? Hello, my name is, what is name? It's up to your wish. So what are the values that you are giving while execution? It will be printed in place of this particular self dot name and self dot age. Just remember how to how to define a class. Class name followed by the indentation. So this is the syntax for this. And coming to the objects, how to create an object. So object is an instance of a class. So how to create an object? You have to just take some variable and you have to store this entire class in this particular variable, and that will be the object. So object name is equal to class name followed by parentheses, followed by the arguments enclosed in parentheses. So this will be the syntax. Object name is equal to class name followed by the arguments which are represented between parentheses. So this is the syntax of, how to create the object. So if you see in this particular code, Alice is equal to person, Alice comma 25. So what is this particular first Alice? It is nothing but self dot name, and 25 will be self dot age. So Bob is equal to person. What is person here? It's nothing but class name. So person, Bob, and 30. So here I'm just trying to print the name and age of this both Alice and Bob. So without writing this entire code again and again, I'll be just calling the function greet. So I hope you're clear why we have used the function concept here. Yes. So how to access these attributes and methods? I've already told you what are attributes. What are attributes? What are attributes? Don't worry about the attendance. Yes, these are the properties or the physical properties. So you can, I mean, how to access these attributes and methods. So what are methods? Attributes are properties, right? What are methods then? What are methods? Yes, method is nothing but functionality or behavior. So how to access these? We will use this dot notation in order to access attributes and methods. This is the only main thing in this entire slide. We'll be using dot notation. So if you look at the code, print ls dot name. So what is dot notation? It is used to access a particular attribute. And ls dot greet. Greet here is nothing but the entire function. So what is function? Method, right? So for both, so I mean for accessing both attributes and methods, we will just use dot notation. So print ls dot name, ls dot greet. So I got name as Alice. And what is greet? In this particular greet function, we have hello. My name is Alice and I am some years old. That's it. So modifying attributes. You can even modify an object's attributes directly. So here I mean in this particular code, I'm just trying to write my age as 25 years. If I want to modify, I'll just use dot notation again here. So ls dot age is equal to 26 and ls dot greet. Here my output will be changed as hello, my name is Alice and I'm 26 years old. So this is how we have modified the age variable here just by using dot notation. So how to access both the attributes and methods by using, so how to access both attributes and methods by using, I want the answers, guys. Please type the answer in the chat box. How to access the attributes and methods by using dot notation, right? Yes. So I hope you are clear with this introduction to OOPS concept. And in tomorrow's class, we'll be dealing with the principles of OOPS, that is abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism. What is the other one? Abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism. So anyone, I mean, do anyone have an idea of OOPS concept? Inheritance, right? Yes. So what is your take home exercise is, do practice all the problems related to OOPS concepts, and do practice all the functions like add, subtract, multiply and the lambda function, etc. This will be your take home exercise. And if you want detailed notes or if you want any interview questions, we have launched an exclusive bundle, so you can grab that. I hope you are clear with the introduction of OOPS. So let's move to the doubt session. So if you still have any doubts which were not cleared in this particular session, reach out to me through LinkedIn. Yeah, today there's no quiz. We have the quiz tomorrow. So do prepare today's concept. We'll be having quiz tomorrow with the concept of day 3 and day 4. Methods and attributes. How to access them, or just what are methods and attributes? So what are methods and attributes? So methods in a sense just the functionality. Attributes in the sense the properties. So for every object we'll be having methods and attributes. So how to access them is by using dot notation. So for example, consider a dog. Okay, fine. Give me some example. Who asked this question? It's Srinivas. Give me some example. The same example dog again. Huh? Okay, fine. So consider dog. So what are the attributes for dog? Attributes in the sense the physical properties or the properties. So we'll be having color, its breed. That's it, right? So these will be the attributes. What is functionality? Functionality in the sense methods. So what are the method? I mean, what are the function? What is the functionality? What can dog do actually? It can bark. It can move. It can eat. It can sleep. Right. So that is nothing but methods. So technically speaking, methods are nothing but the functions. So we'll be using def keyword, right? So these are the functions, and attributes are nothing but name, age. So the properties or the variables that we use are nothing but the attributes. Just concentrate on the theory part. We can move to coding tomorrow. Don't worry about that. Yeah, today's notes will be shared through WhatsApp. Classes topic. Okay. So yeah, class is nothing but it is, I mean, it is a blueprint for creating objects, or it is used to create objects. That's it. Remember that thing. So class is used to create objects. So what are objects? As you know, it will be having attributes and behavior, right? So class is nothing but it is a blueprint for creating objects, and it also supplies attributes and methods. So classes will be main topic in this entire object oriented programming. So how to write this class? What will be the syntax? Class followed by class name followed by the colon, which is nothing but indentation. Don't forget the syntax of this class. First letter must be in capital. So inside this class we'll be writing the functions or methods. Here init is a method, greet is a method. You can add as your wish. I hope you're clear with this class concept. Yes, we can write a class without using constructor, but we cannot write constructor without using class. So class is very important. Constructor is nothing but it will have the same name of a class, and it is nothing but like it is similar to methods. Sharing the attendance link, attendance form. Do fill that. That will be open till tomorrow's class. So self, it's not a keyword, it's just a convention. I mean, what is the use of self here in the sense? It'll allow, I mean, it'll allow the class to access these particular name and age. I mean, access these values or variables. So self is just used to, it allows the class or methods to access the variables. That is why we have written self. So if you see here in this particular greet function, we are not giving, I mean, self, name and age again, because this entire name and age are, I mean, are stored in the self dot name and self dot age, right? So by just, I mean, by just using the self, we can write this entire body of this particular greet method. Self, it's just a convention, that's it, it's not a keyword, it's just a parameter which is neglected. So what are the actual parameters? Name and age will be the actual parameters. Self is, I mean, it allows us, I mean, it increases the readability of the code or efficiency of the code. It allows the class and these methods to access both the name and age, I mean, all the variables which you'll be giving in your particular code. Kaushik, I did not get your question. It's how to initialize the object, or object in the sense you will be just giving the object name is equal to class name followed by the arguments, that's it. Here Alice will be the object and Bob will be the object. This is how you create objects. Do fill the attendance form, and if you want this detailed notes, do grab this opportunity. The bundle link is shared to you. And if you don't want to miss the interesting content like this, do like, share, and subscribe to Code Sprint. And do join all the communities whose links are there in the description box. So if there are any doubts, so if there are no doubts, I'll just wind up the session, guys. You'll not have quiz today. So thank you. So we'll be dealing with the principles of OOPS in tomorrow's class. That is all the four principles. Thank you and good night. Let's meet in tomorrow's session.